So this happened. On my 2015 Kia Sedona, I'm going to show you how to install a spare using everything that comes with the vehicle. Before we get started, you want to make sure that the vehicle is in park and that the parking brake is set. Let's get started. So in the back on the left side, you're going to have this compartment here. Go ahead and just pull it off. I got some other stuff tucked in here. There's your jack, and up here is your... So in the little black bag of goodies, you got a Phillips head screwdriver, and here is the wrench for the lug nuts, and to also jack up your jack. And then here's a come on, eye bolt, for whatever reason that is. So to get your jack out, just unscrew this. There it is. So I opened up the passenger side sliding door, and behind the passenger front seat, underneath this, you'll see right here it says spare tire. If you want to unhook the carpet, there's a little hook deal-a-majiggy there. You can unhook doing that and get it out of the way. I'm going to take this screwdriver to pop this up because I couldn't get it with my fingernails. So you're going to use your little tire iron wrench for the lug nuts to turn this bolt in order to release the tire that is actually underneath the car. So from here, you look under the passenger side sliding door, and there's the tire that's being held up by that we're going to turn to release it. So I'm going to pull the passenger side front seat forward so I can get to the stuff easier. So as you can see, the tire is now on the ground because it has been lowered down by that cable from us turning that bolt up there. So at this point now we just got to pick up the tire with one hand. This part's a little bit of a pain in the butt. And then the other hand, get this turned sideways so it will go up through that center hole. And we can pull the tire out. And then, yeah, just watch your fingers, because when you're pulling this out, there's pinch points here that when you can catch your finger when you're pulling this out. If you do this, if your car's low enough, mine's just barely high enough, but it depends on your terrain. So let's get this out. So here's the tire. There's a plastic cap that's inserted into the lug nut holes. So pull that off. So on the jack, it actually shows you the proper placement of the jack, and it's between the wheels and right next to the wheel that you're going to be replacing. And to also put this hook here onto the welded pinch points that I'll show you under there. Let's get it raised. So I'm right next to the passenger rear tire, and then under here you got this chunk of metal that's welded together, all these different layers. On this lip is where you're going to be putting, that's where you're going to be putting into that hook there. So by hand you can go ahead and jack it up to get it in place. There we go. So this is where it's going to be placed. Before jacking it up, go ahead and break the lug nuts loose while it's on the ground. That way it has some resistance when you're trying to break them loose and it's not spinning the wheel. They're broke loose, and as you can see, don't be afraid to put your foot on it. Going up. Now that I have it jacked up enough to get the tire off, I'm going to go ahead and take the lug nuts out. Alright, with the lug nuts off, go ahead and remove your tire. So this is the way the spare goes on. So now I'm going to snug up the lug nuts in kind of a crisscross pattern before I drop it and really put some pressure on the nuts. So now I'm going to drop the car down and then put some pressure on the lug nuts to make sure that they're really tight. So now with the car down all the way, I'm really going to put some pressure on the lug nuts for torque. On this tire it says to inflate to 60 pounds. So I'm going to make sure that the spare is aired up all the way. And if you're stranded on the side of the road, you better hope that your spare has air in it. So it's a good thing to check that every once in a while. So this one barely has any. I haven't been doing a good job making sure that it stayed aired up. Before you go driving off, make sure you tighten this up to pull that wire up off the ground so it's not dragging when you're driving. Alright, cable's up all the way. And release your parking brake. Woo. So remember when driving with the donut to not exceed 50 miles per hour, and this is just a temporary solution, and to get a new tire on it as soon as possible. Thanks for watching.